and I believe in you. I believe in the simple things and everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you. So tell me, do you feel the way that I feel? And tell me, would you give what I'm willing to give? And I believe in honesty, and I believe it's true. And I believe if you set it free, it will come back to you. And I believe that things were meant to really be. And I believe in the love we have, because I believe in you.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to UCY.TV. Vince Easley filling in for J. Cynthia Brooks today on Cancer Kickers. I have Ty Bollinger as my guest. He'll be calling in a few minutes. So, hey, welcome, everybody. And let's see here. I'm going to play this. I'll have to plug this in. I'm going to play this little bitty clip real quick. Just kind of give you guys a little start here on the cancer industry. Let's turn this up.
An intensive campaign to find a cure for cancer.
Our recovery plan will invest in electronic health records. It will launch a new effort to conquer a disease that has touched the life of nearly every American by seeking a cure for cancer in our time.
Okay, that first one was from Richard Nixon in 1971. 38 years later, that was Barack Obama. And are we any closer to curing cancer, or just cures already exist, and have they existed? So here in just a minute or two, we're going to have our guest call in. Man, I have a lot of material pulled up here, just a whole gang of it. I've got rain falling on the tin roof and hickory nuts right in falling with them. So if y'all hear some banging, that's from the skies above. So welcome everybody in chat. Glad to have you. Jax, Banjo, Global Earth Guy, Richard Poen, and Lone Frog, Joe Friday, several others there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And J. Cynthia's out today. She had some matters to attend to. I've got so many links here open. Let me see if I can get to where we need to start at. Okay, the problem is that orthodox medicine refuses to use treatments that cannot be patented. Okay, excuse me, that's basically it in a nutshell on cancer. We can go back for a great many years, 100 years, and see where cancer has been being cured, or at least alleviated. Now, there's some that will say cancer is not actual disease, that it's a symptom. So there's a lot of disagreement among experts in the field. I myself am not an expert, and I will tell you this, that I'm just a student. I'm looking at this like each and every one of us should be. I think we've all been affected by cancer. Somebody, our family, a friend, perhaps has cancer, or has died from cancer, and so many unnecessarily. So let's have a discussion. With that being said, this is not intended for medical advice or any of that. This is for educational purposes. It's a intelligent discussion, hopefully, and we continue. So let's see here. We had some presidents treated. Ronald Reagan, he was treated, and we have our caller. Great, and I'm adding him to the group. Welcome, Ty. I'm glad you could join us. Welcome.
Hello?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, good. This Vincent?
Yes, it is. Hi, Ty. How are you?
Hey, good. How you doing?
I'm doing super. I'm so glad you could join us.
Vincent?
Hi, how
Hello?
are you? Yes.
Good. I'm checking the sound. It's so low. He's having a hard time hearing. Hold on real quick.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Vincent.
All right, Ty. Welcome. Now you have an event coming up.
You know what, man? Let me call you on another phone. I think I can hear better on mine. I'll call you right back.
Okay, Doc. So also, the personal physician to President JFK was placed under a gag order. I mean, we've got a lot of information, and we'll welcome your calls in the second half hour. If you'd like to call in, join the discussion, add your comment. So this is from a site called the Big Cancer Lie, and I think as it goes on down the site, they're going to try to share herbal cure from India. Here's Ty calling back in. And, okay.
Vincent.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, very good. Much better. I can hear a lot better on this phone.
Great. All right. So let me see if I've got some messages in chat, but I can't get to them. I suppose one of them might be from you and one from Jules that says lines are forwarded. So I have your site open here, and that is thetruthaboutcancer.com. In 2 days, you have a several-day event coming up. It's 11-part documentary. So, and it's 28 doctors, 11 scientists, 9 survivors, and 1 FDA dragon-slaying attorney break their code of silence and expose the truth about cancer and how to exactly prevent and treat it and beat it 100% naturally. So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about the event? And of course, you can get there. And I think yesterday might have been the last day, unless you've extended it to the free seminar, or is that still available?
No, it's available still all the way through Monday night. So all you got to do is go to thetruthaboutcancer.com, as you mentioned, and we put your name and email, and you'll receive an email that has a link to begin watching for free on Monday night. And it's an 11-day documentary miniseries, as you mentioned. It'll be broadcast every night from 8 to 9 o'clock Central Time. And all you got to do is just watch it for free. And it's going to be quite enlightening for a lot of people to learn about these natural treatments for cancer. You're going to learn about your immune system. You're going to learn about nutrition and the impact that food has on your health. We have several episodes that are dedicated to natural cancer treatments coming straight from the doctors that are using them. And I think it's going to be quite fascinating for a lot of people to be able to listen and hopefully, share with their friends and family, people that may not be interested in reading a book on natural cancer treatments, but they'll definitely watch a miniseries that's kind of more of a reality TV style miniseries. It's going to be very interesting to watch, kind of fun at points, but it's really going to bring home the message about natural treatments for cancer. So all they got to do is just go to that website, thetruthaboutcancer.com, sign up. Begins Monday night, and it goes all the way through the 24th, 11 days, 8 to 9 Central each night.
Awesome. Now, I did drop that link into chat. If you're not in chat and you'd like to join us in chat, you can come on over at ucy.tv/kick, K-I-C-K. This day and age, I find that most of us probably don't read as much as people used to, and with all the social media, a listen is a lot easier than a read. Yes, Jax, I will remind you, and I have signed up in my email, so I will be listening to this event, and I look forward to it. So, Ty, I appreciate it. You're on the road. You're calling in by phone, and I think y'all are headed to visit some family, you and your wife and children, see Grandma and Grandpa, perhaps. And so I really appreciate you taking the time out to join us here on a last-minute notice. And I did listen to you. I think it was last week, might have been the week before, on Truther Talk here on UCY.tv with April and Verstein. Really enjoyed listening to you then also. As what I'd like to do is ask you to tell us a little bit about cancer. Now, there's different schools of thought here, and I find a lot of people in the alternative field will probably have a little different idea. Some people say it's a virus, and others it's just a byproduct of a bad environment, an acidic environment, and that's why cancer thrives. So tell us what you can about what you know about cancer.
Sure. Yeah. And there are certain cancers that have been caused by viruses, and that's been well documented. The polio vaccine back in the 1950s was contaminated with SC40, simian virus 40, which is a virus. That's monkeypox, and it has been linked to over 100,000 cases of cancer. So that's one case of a viral type cancer. But you also have cancers that result from just compromised immune system. The body's immune system is there to protect us. And when that immune system is overloaded with toxicities, whether it be from the air, the water, the food, you just can't keep up. And so cancer, which is really a normal occurrence in everybody every day, a healthy immune system is able to get cancer in check, and you'll never be diagnosed with what could be thought of as life-threatening cancer. But it's when that immune system is failing, when it's compromised, when it's crippled from being overburdened with toxicity, that you might be diagnosed with a cancer that is, potentially could take your life. So I would say that the general rule, we should think of cancer as a disease of a compromised immune system. Because if we have that immune system that's fully functioning, and I heard this from several medical doctors on this quest for the cures as I was traveling to their offices all over the United States to interview them, they said, several of them, that if you have an immune system that is fully functioning, that it is impossible to have cancer. So you really want to work on that immune system, because that's what we're given to protect our body. It's our first line of defense. And in light of that fact, the traditional treatments for cancer, chemotherapy and radiation and surgery, really don't make a lot of sense, because most of the chemotherapeutic agents are known carcinogens. They're class A carcinogens, which means that we know that they cause cancer. Now, that doesn't make sense to me to use something that causes cancer to treat cancer, and it also devastates the immune system, as well as radiation, which devastates the immune system and is a known carcinogen. I mean, the medical literature is full of articles and studies that have shown that radiation causes cancer. I don't think any medical doctor will debate that. But we use that to treat cancer, and so it's just it's a backwards paradigm right now, Vincent, that we're using to treat cancer. As Dr. Stanislaw Brzezinski told me on this quest for the cures, we're in the dark ages in medicine when it comes to treating cancer today, because the treatments that we use to treat cancer cause cancer, and that just doesn't make sense.
Right. Now, cancer cells naturally occur in our body, and they're there actually to help compartmentalize probably symptoms of acidosis and others that, it's actually there, like I say, to help the body and contain these problems going on. It's an indicator that there is something else that is occurring. And
there you go.
From a site, cancerisnotadisease.com, it says that, did you know 95% of all cancers appear and disappear on their own, and then treating them actually prevents them from being cured? The prominent cancer researcher and professor at the University of California, Dr. Hayden Jones, admitted patients are as well or better off untreated. Now, it goes to what you were saying there, that the radiation, the chemotherapy, and all these other drugs, they have a very, very low survival rate. When you're talking 3%, you're talking about 97 people out of 100 are dying from the actual treatment, is what it appears to me to be.
Yeah, no, you're right, Vincent. Most people die from the treatment, not from the cancer. The 5-year statistics for chemotherapy are less than 3%, actually. It's 2.1% in the United States. And so it's not very effective at all. I mean, it's a 98% failure. That's pathetic, and in my opinion. I mean, why would you even try that? That doesn't make sense for me. But a lot of people have tried it because that's what their doctors tell them. And the doctors tell them this because that's all the doctors are taught in medical school. And the reason that the doctors are only taught that in medical school is because doctors in medical school are taught to push drugs and to treat symptoms rather than cure disease. And that goes all the way back to the Flexner Report of 1910, where the medical schools in the United States were co-opted by big business and the Rockefellers and the Carnegies in an attempt to monopolize the medical industry, and they did a really good job at it. But one of the things that you mentioned earlier about cancer being almost a healing gesture, I would agree with that. Cancer is it's the body walling off these absent cells. It's the body protecting itself. It's the body telling you that there's something else wrong that you need to fix, whether it be an overly acidic body, a lack of oxygen at the cellular level, or whatever it might be. The tumor is a symptom. It's not the cancer. So when we treat the tumor as if it were the disease, then we have a problem, because the tumor is not the cancer, it's a symptom. So if you cut out the tumor, your underlying issue is still there, and you can't fix the cancer if you only treat the tumor, because you've got to fix the underlying cause of the tumor. And that's where modern medicine, modern oncology falls flat on its face, because modern oncology cuts out the tumor and says you're cancer-free, while they did nothing to fix the underlying environment of your body, the internal terrain. Whatever was going wrong is still going wrong. It's the equivalent of driving down the road and you see the check engine light in your car go off, and you take a hammer and you smash it and you think your car's fixed. Well, no, your car's not fixed. You just can't see the check engine light anymore, but you still got a problem. You just don't know about it anymore, and that's really the equivalent of what we do when we cut out tumors.
Right. Now, from Cancer Biology, blogspot.com, the definition of cancer here is defined as: cancer is an abnormal growth of cells caused by multiple changes in gene expression, leading to dysregulated balance of cell proliferation and cell death, and ultimately evolving into a population of cells that can invade tissues and metastasize into distant sites, causing significant morbidity and, if untreated, death of the host. Now, this is probably not a alternative treatment friendly site, but for balance, I wanted to add that. Now, I was reading earlier today that cancer does not actually spread, but the actual manifestation of the cancer, it pops up elsewhere, because we have this same problem with the acid environment. And when one goes to correcting the environment, cancer cannot survive in a high pH environment. Now, Dr. Royal Raymond Rife in early 1900s, in the mid 1900s, he did many experiments, and he was trying to. Now, he was using a cancer virus to study, and what he's doing, he finally got a medium that he could, inject into these rats, grow tumors, and then extract that, find the virus, and be able to bring it back and forth. Now, this is one type of cancer that you was talking about, a viral cancer, and there are others. So when he found that what he had to do to be able to get this cancer to proliferate, to be able to do his studies, was make sure that he was not in a neutral pH environment, which was about a 7.3. So we're looking at natural foods, raw foods, even acidic foods like a lemon turns alkali after you consume it. So I think changing the environment to prevent cancer from growth is very important. I also looked at sugar. Now, of course, the anti-natural path. These people want to try to split hairs and call, cancer is good. Well, I think specifically we're talking about the refined sugars, and it seems to just feed cancer phenomenally. And how would you address that, Ty?
Yeah, you're right. Sugar does feed cancer. Cancer is what's called an obligate glucose metabolizer. In other words, it feeds on sugar. So sugar not only feeds cancer, right? It is the main nutrient of cancer. It also compromises our immune system as well. So that's two good reasons to stay away from refined sugar. But if you want to get rid of your cancer, then starve it. Get rid of the fuel for the cancer. Get rid of the sugar, because without the sugar, the cancer can't live. It does not metabolize carbohydrates or protein or fats very well. It metabolizes simple carbohydrates like sugar. So that's why a lot of good anti-cancer diets include completely eliminating sugar, and I think that's a good step for anyone to begin to get their health back, whether they have cancer or not, because sugar compromises the immune system, and it creates a very acidic terrain. And what you were mentioning there, that's the key as far as the terrain, the environment, the pH of the body. Because just look at the flu. Look at some. You're in an elementary school, and one of the kids comes with a snotty nose and he's coughing, and during flu season, and sneezes all over all the kids, and they're breeding these flu bugs all day long. Well, the next day, Vince, you may have a third of them out with the flu, but the other 2/3 never get sick. Well, why is that? Well, it's not because they got exposed to anything different, any different germ or bug. They got exposed to the same exact flu bug, but their immune system was able to handle it because their body was in a state that it was able to fend off disease. And that's the same goes with cancer. It's not quite as simple as the flu, but it is the fact that we produce cancer cells on a daily basis. If the immune system, if the body is in the right state, we will never have life-threatening cancer. And so it's all about the internal environment, the terrain, or some scientists call it the milieu.
Right. Now, it's 4:20 in Central Time Zone here, so with that, here's the Buzz Beaver Report, and we're going to talk some about cannabinoids. Cannabinoids are a group of 21 carbon-containing terpenoid compounds produced uniquely by cannabis species, e.g. cannabis sativa. These plants-derived compounds may be referred to as phytocannabinoids, also delta-9 tetracycline. Oh, you know how to say that. THC is a primary psychoactive ingredient. Also known compounds with biologic activity are cannabinol, cannabidiol, that's CBD, and several others. Now, cannabinoids have been shown to be very effective in treating cancer, and everybody probably, of course, is aware of Rick Simpson's hemp oil used as a treatment. So what can you tell us about the use of cannabis in treatment for cancer?
Yeah, cannabis is an excellent treatment for cancer. I talk about that. I interview several doctors in the Quest for the Cures about that, and you'll see that this week if you go to thetruthaboutcancer.com and sign up. The cannabinoids are chemical constituents of the hemp plant or the cannabis plant. I don't like to call it marijuana because that's a slang word that was invented by the DEA back in the 30s to make people afraid of a plant. It's hemp, it's cannabis, it's not marijuana. It's the only difference in the different strains of the plant is which ones have high THC and which ones don't. The THC, the delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, is the psychoactive component, and that's what gets you high if you smoke it. But there's a lot of other cannabinoids, specifically CBD, cannabidiol, is another cannabinoid in the hemp plant or the cannabis plant that's very medicinal but has no psychoactive constituents. So the first studies that I'm aware of that were done on cannabis were back in the 1970s at the behest of the DEA, and this was right after Tricky Dick Nixon had declared the war on drugs, and the war on cancer had also been declared, and they were looking to find that hemp, or they called it marijuana, causes cancer. This was at the University of Virginia Medical School. It was 1974 was the year, and unbeknownst to them, their scientists found that the hemp actually mitigated the effects of 3 different kinds of cancer. In other words, it cured cancer. It controlled cancer. The DEA did not allow them to publish those results in the medical journals. They buried the study for almost 20 years. They didn't want this to get out because that would go against their war on drugs, their war on marijuana, because they found out that it actually cures cancer. Well, there have been over dozens of studies since then. I don't know the exact number, but well over 24 studies that I'm aware of that I've got that I quote in the book. Cancer Step Outside the Box is my first book on cancer. I've got all the studies in that book, but over 24 studies since that time have all shown that hemp or cannabis is effective at treating and or controlling and even curing over 12 different types of cancers: pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, ovarian cancer, testicular cancer, prostate, breast, and the list goes on and on. I'm not aware of a single study that has shown that cannabis has any kind of negative effects when it comes to cancer. In other words, I am not aware of any studies that show that marijuana causes cancer, and that even includes people that smoke it. The recent studies show that people that smoke marijuana do not have higher rates of lung cancer than people that don't smoke it. And the reason is, even though you don't want to inhale hot vapor, the activation of the cannabinoid, specifically THC, delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, when you smoke it, has such a medicinal effect that it mitigates the negative effects of inhaling hot vapor. So there you have it. I was actually on Fox News in January, and they interviewed me for about a 5-minute segment talking about medicinal marijuana, and I was able to share all of that with you. And to my astonishment, it actually made it on the air. It didn't cut to the segment, and it was actually aired on Fox News.
Well, that doesn't happen very often. More and more, they're not able to suppress the truth. It's out there. It's there for everybody to look at, and I think each and every individual has a responsibility. Chris Wart from Chris Beat Cancer, he has talked about some other compounds from plants like oregano, garlic, cayenne, and turmeric. These 4 cancer-fighting spices have powerful health benefits and were part of his daily regimen to beat cancer without chemo. So there's a number of other plants, especially in the tropics, that get from different trees, plants, and fruits and so forth that show a great amount of benefit in reversing these symptoms that are known as cancer. Again, back to what we consume and the environment we provide inside our bodies.
Vince, I'm sorry, man. I went through a bad cell there. I heard you talking about Chris Wark and some different medicinal herbs that he was talking about. And by the way, Chris Wark is interviewed in The Quest for the Cures. He's a friend of mine, lives up in Memphis, and I interviewed him back in the spring, and he will be on at least 2 or 3 episodes this next week on The Quest for the Cures continues. But I'm sorry, I missed the last part of the question.
Oh, well, I guess it wasn't a question. It was just me kind of trailing off after talking about on his site here, chrisbeatcancer.com, 4 cancer-fighting spices. And among these spices are many other plants beyond the oregano, garlic, cayenne, and turmeric. Turmeric has been shown to be an effective as far as other medicines and being able to replace, pharmaceuticals. Let's go back and talk some about in the beginning. Now, there's been several people that have been just shut down, even in recent years. Ian Jacklin, we'll talk about his friends that had to move down to Tijuana with their clinic. There was one in Oklahoma that was shut down using, I think, vitamin C and.
They were using vitamin C, DMSO, and also intravenous Laetrile. That was the Camelot Cancer Center in Tulsa. Yeah.
Dr. Carpenter, who had LaceMed Inc. in Little Rock, Arkansas, moved to Tulsa, and she was effectively shut down. And Oklahoma is supposed to be, allow for holistic and, like native stuff to use to treat, alternatively beyond the petrochemical industry that is pushing all these. And like you said, the doctors, that's all they're trained in. And they might have 10 hours of training in as far as, nutrition. So that's not...
Actually, I interviewed several doctors, Vince, during this Quest for the Cures, and I asked them that specific question. How many hours of nutritional training did you get in medical school? And I got anywhere from 0 to 30 minutes.
Wow.
So they know nothing about nutrition. Doctors know nothing about nutrition, and it's not because they're stupid. They're very smart people, but they're not trained. And so they're not trained about nutrition in medical school, and the reason they're not is because the medical schools were co-opted 100 years ago. Well, then they can't teach you about it. So it really seems absurd that we rely on doctors to try to get us healthy when the most important part of health, which is what we put in our mouth, our nutrition, they know nothing about. And you can tell that it's patently obvious when you look at most doctors. They're not exactly the picture of health, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. And I had read today also that most doctors' wives know more about cancer or nutrition than the doctor themselves. Yes, Becky.
I know you say that. One of the doctors that I interviewed, I can't remember who it was, but he's a medical doctor. He said, when I got out of medical school, my wife knew more about nutrition than I did. And he said that exact thing.
Wow. Okay, I'm trying to find back for Becky to get this link here for Chris Beat Cancer. I think I found it right here, yes. And I'll drop that in chat, Becky. Chris is a great guy. We have so many people in alternative media here and working to expose the industry and to basically just bring about a knowledge that there is more than cut and burn treatments.
Well, yeah, you mean more than the cut, poison, burn? Is that what you said?
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. I mean, cut, poison, burn, the big three, radiation, chemo, and surgery, they don't work. I mean, they remove the symptoms. Sure, chemotherapy will shrink a tumor. Radiation will shrink a tumor. Surgery can cut out a tumor. But the problem is, as I mentioned earlier, the tumor is a symptom of the problem, but it's not the disease. So it does not fix anything. And so that's why they fall flat on their face, and they are really an abysmal failure, because of the fact that they don't really get to the root cause. Now, when you get to these natural treatments for cancer that stimulate the immune system, they modulate immunity, they get the body back into a pH, a high pH environment, an alkaline environment, They hydrate the body. They get the body to detoxify. You're able to, using hyperthermia, you sweat, whatever it might be, to get, do the full body cleanses to detoxify. Then you're getting to the actual root cause. And when you do these treatments, that's why they work so well. That's why the natural treatments actually work. And despite the fact that your conventional oncologist might say, well, I want to see the science behind this, you try to show them the science and they won't look at it. Okay, so it's not really a fair fight. Their minds most of the time, now not all oncologists, some of them are open to truth, but most of the time their minds are closed. Their mind is already made up. Their eyes will not become open. They don't want to know this, and that's evidenced with numerous interviews that I've done with cancer patients that are survivors, 5, 10, 15, 20 years out of their diagnosis, when they did something natural that worked, and they were told that they were terminal by their oncologist. They go natural, they're alive, they live 5, 10, 15 years, they're still alive. They go back to their old oncologist, they let them know that how they're doing, and the oncologist does not ask them, what did you do to cure your disease? They don't want to know. Then there's something wrong with the system.
Right. It's like if a person has so much time invested in medical school and all that, then they assume that they have much more knowledge than the average person. So it would fly in the face. It would just like they would be for them to say, well, I've just wasted all my time on this, right?
Oh yeah. For a doctor who spent a decade in college and med school, residency, internship, it is unfathomable that grandma could be growing weeds in her backyard that she's been brewing up since she was a little girl, and she dropped out of high school and she's curing cancer, but they don't know how to cure cancer. That is not a concept that can even cross their mind, so they shut that out. That's an impossibility to a doctor that is the equivalent of a demigod here on earth. They can't believe that someone that doesn't have their equivalent of education could actually be curing cancer when they can't do it themselves.
Right. Now, I would like to give 2 examples that I've used myself. Now, I've been to the hospital actually from allergic reactions, and they never could figure it out. And I was if I didn't take an allergy pill every day prescribed, then I could expect an episode. What I did, I discovered that stinging nettle, and there's a variety that grows around here where I'm at. It's horse nettle, and I hardly ever eat it now, but I was eating it generally just a little bit every day. I no longer have any allergy problems. I don't certainly don't have my tongue swell and have to go to the hospital and get on IVs and all that stuff. Also, my whole life, I'm deathly allergic to poison ivy. I have scars from it. So about 10 years ago, I started eating a little tiny, brand new little baby leaf of a poison ivy plant. I just pick it, a little tiny, no bigger than just the end of your thumbnail, roll it up and drop it down with, gulp it down with a mouthful of water. I haven't eaten any poison ivy in probably about 3 years now, and I can wait. Literally just roll in it, and without effect. I don't get it at all.
Interesting. So you've been eating the leaves of poison ivy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, is what I use is a brand new leaf. Just very teeny tiny, and I'm not telling anybody to eat poison ivy. I've heard other people that like as a kid, his dad made him eat it, but he just made him chew it up and stuff. So he got it all in his mouth and throat and stuff like that. I'm careful that I swallow it down in water and go straight to my stomach, a very tiny piece. And for me, it cured me of poison ivy, ever getting it. I don't even get it now.
Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty wild. I wonder if that has any effects on cancer.
Well, I'm not sure. Global Earth Guy, and go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Ty.
So, what'd you say, Vince?
Oh, well, I was just reading here, a Global Earth Guy. He used turmeric, and he puts it on his mashed potatoes. Matter of fact, I've been just about a week now started using turmeric. And
turmeric, that's great. That's great. Yeah, a lot of doctors that I know use that. They integrate that into their protocols for cancer. They, most of them use turmeric.
I like the flavor. So, yeah, Global Earth Guy uses turmeric and curry together. And now I'll go to Dr. Richard Schultz. Very, very extreme is what some people would call his treatments. I first learned about him a few years ago. I was living out at It was like a health retreat, and it was after it was closed. The folks were old. The man's wife had died, but he was still alive. He just died here about a year ago, and he almost made 100. They were mostly vegetarian, although they did use dairy and eggs and stuff. And I was reading today, some people said that milk is jet fuel for cancer, so I'm not sure about that.
Well, we eat a lot of raw milk. We drink a lot of raw milk. We eat a lot of fresh eggs. We have laying hens on our property, so we get fresh eggs from our hens each day. I think they're a fantastic source of protein, a great source of fat. If the cows that are producing the milk are grass fed, then you've got the good fat in the milk. You got the right ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 fats. I'm a firm believer that most people need good sources of meat and dairy, eggs in their diet. Now, some people are vegan; they go vegetarian. It works well for them, and that's great. I mean, I don't think there's one size that fits all for a diet, but I think most people actually need some good sources of protein and fat that are animal based in their diet.
Yeah. Now, like the cold water sardines has been a good source of the omega fatty acids, 3, 6, and 9, I guess it is.
Right.
But the hemp seed actually contains probably as much or more that's more readily absorbed from the body, and probably the best source. And I think that's very important too, is the omega.
Oh yeah. You're right. The hemp, not only is it medicinal as far as treating cancer, but it's a superfood. The hemp has the perfect ratios of omega-3 to 6 fats. It's got a great amount of gamma-linolenic acid, which is kind of hard to find. And so it is a superfood, the equivalent of chlorella or spirulina. I'm sure that folks have heard of those. Hemp is right up there with them as far as being a superfood. And it's not only great at treating cancer, not only a superfood, it also is there's thousands of industrial uses for hemp. Most people don't know that the original Declaration of Independence and the Constitution were drafted on hemp paper. One of Henry Ford's original Model Ts was built from hemp fiber, and it actually ran on hemp fuel. So that's just a couple. There's a couple of uses, industrial uses. Clothing, I mean, it's much better fiber than cotton for making clothing. The list of uses for hemp is just endless. If we legalize the growing of hemp in all 50 states just as an industrial hemp, we could pretty much get ourselves out of this depression overnight.
Right. Now, I did a program last year called Hemp and Cannabis Can Save the World. And among that is some of the information you just shared. A pair of blue jeans made out, that's what Levi Strauss used to make their jeans out of, was hemp. Much stronger than cotton. You don't have to have all the pesticides to control boll weevils and so forth. That cotton's not an environmentally friendly crop. And
also now the cottonseed, over 90% of cottonseed is now genetically modified in the United States as well.
Right, and you will find cotton, the byproduct of all this cotton also is cottonseed. They use the mill after they extract the oils. They use the mill to feed the cattle. The oils, they use, they add that into all types of ingredients, processed foods, and generally that's been hydrogenized, which, it's basically they're whipping this up and blending it where it's like it's not a separate, it won't separate. It has a consistency that mixes well, and that breaks it down into such small particles that the body cannot identify and deal with that. So it's awesome. Yeah, hemp. I like I said, hemp and cannabis can save the world. There's so much that can be done with the two different types of plants. Of course, you can smoke a bushel basket full of hemp and not get high on it. There's no, the THC levels in, commercial hemp is way different. There's different types of cannabis, so you're not going to get high on that. Seeds are illegal. Yeah, you can import hemp seed from Washington. From Canada, I'm sorry. But, you can't grow it here. There's no THC in the seeds at all. So it's all about control. And we'll go back to what you was talking about, in the early century. Hearst, with the famous, newspaper man, he owned
Randolph Seymour Hearst,
yeah, he owned a lot of, tree farms where they're growing trees for paper, and that would have been, the biggest competition to him. So I believe it's like you can get 4 times the amount of fiber out of the same area from hemp as you can from a pine plantation.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you take one acre of hemp will produce as much paper as 10 acres of trees.
It's quite a difference.
Yeah, it is. It's a racket. I mean, look, Vince, you look at the bottom line, you look at the reason that a lot of these things, a lot of these substances have been made illegal. It's all business. It's about, monopolizing a certain industry. It's about doing away with the competition. I mean, if you look at John Rockefeller, his lifelong mantra was that competition is a sin. And so he did away with the competition with a lot of these business moves. And, regardless of the fact that until the day that he died, Rockefeller was a firm believer in homeopathy. He's one of the reasons that homeopathic medical schools in the United States were shut down. Yeah. Even though he believed in homeopathy and he had his own homeopath, that was a competition with his pharmaceutical industry, the chemical companies that he owned. And so he made trillions of dollars. While he destroyed the homeopathic medical schools, even though he believed in homeopathy.
Sick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where'd you like to take us from here? I had something that it just went right out my mind there, and I'll have to regroup my brain here. So,
well, I would just I'm about to have to drop here. I got to get rolling here, Vince, but it's been a pleasure to join you. What I would encourage your listeners to do is just go to thetruthaboutcancer.com to sign up for the Quest for the Cures. It starts Monday and it continues for 11 days, and there will be 11 days that you won't regret. And it might just save your life, or it might just save the life of someone in your family to learn this information. It's really important and powerful knowledge.
Yeah. Hey, Ty, thanks so much for joining. This has been a quick 40 minutes. This has just flown by, and I really appreciate you coming on with such short notice. And enjoy your trip. Have a great fun, and I'll see you on air here in a couple of days then.
Hey, that sounds good, Vince. And next time we'll do maybe a Skype interview or a phone interview where it's not quite so noisy here on the cell.
Fantastic. Not a problem. And tell your wife thanks for all her help today in getting this together.
I'll tell her, Vince, and you take care. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Okay. Take care, man.
Bye, Ty. Okay, folks. All right. So listen, I've got phone lines open. If you'd like to call in at 718-717-8296, I'd enjoy your call on air. And I am going to go find a little something else here. This actually is from, I think this is from, Dr. Richard Schultz, his site. It is, yeah. It's called curezone.com, Handbook Healing Cancer. And I'm going to copy that. I'm going to drop that off into chat also. Boom, there it goes. Okay, Becky says, drop a link on your page, please. I can get that from here. You can't get it from here. Okay. I will take in on my post on Facebook, and I'll bring all these. I have all these links pulled up, and I'll bring them. I'll just drop them over there after the show for your perusement, entertainment, I guess, because we're not giving you medical advice, or am I? Nah. Okay. So let's see here. Let me go back to Dr. Schultz. I watched. Been a few years back, I watched a several-hour presentation and he gave, going through all the treatments. And like I said, come across as pretty extreme, I guess. But hey, I think dying's pretty extreme too. Some of the things he talks about there, I just dropped. What causes cancer? Let me just back up to the right there. He says that cancer is currently much more widespread than previously thought. Autopsies on men over 50 years of age who died of other causes showed that 1/3 of them had prostate cancer. At the turn of the century, statistics showed that 1 out of 25 people got cancer. This year, and I think this is like in the year 2000. Yes, it is. Year 2000, the statistics are 1 out of 3. No, that was then. By the year 2000, he goes on to say, experts claim that everyone will have some form of cancer. And I think Ty and I discussed that a little bit earlier there, that we all have those cancer cells in our body, and they are there actually, not by accident, but to help compartmentalize problems within. Okay, so he goes on to say, is this showing that our modern day lifestyle is drastically long? Can we learn from these statistics and make the positive lifestyle changes necessary to heal us and keep us healthy throughout our lifetime? He says here, just what I just said, cancer cells are present in everyone. When we have a healthy immune system, Ty was talking about this, we kill these rogue cells before they proliferate. However, once our immune system gets depressed, these cancer cells can get the upper hand. Our immune system is affected by what we do physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Becky could talk about coffee enemas. Dr. Schultz said use coffee enemas, garlic. Oh my God, cayenne. You want to talk about excruciating pain? I'm not sure. I'd rather not die from cancer than experience that. But man, it looked rough. So let's talk about physical influence. Including would be smoking, drinking, eating a high fat. Now, this is a bad fat because there are good fats that we need in our diet. Low nutrition. We increase the risk of cancer. In fact, 70% of all cancers are directly related to diet. Animal-based foods contain fat, cholesterol, hormones, both natural and artificial, steroids and pesticides in concentrated form. Our bodies react negatively to these substances as they contribute to illness. And again, I'll go back to what I was just saying, just the example of the hydrogenated oil. Bad business there. Additionally, being sedate, i.e. a couch potato, increases the possibility of sickness, blockage, whether it is a blood flow, lymphatic flow, nerve flow, energy flow is the basic factor behind disease in the body. A poor diet, a lack of exercise, plugging our lungs, bowels, livers, kidneys with junk causes poor circulation, which results in disease. If you'll visit Dr. Schultz, you'll find a lot of what he has to say about addressing some of these issues. He goes on to say, covering the emotional influences, it is proving that our immune system listens to our emotions. When the brain makes chemicals as a result of our emotional state, our body's immune system has receptors which actually respond to these chemicals. So if you hate your immune system, if you hate, your immune system responds to that. Oh, okay. So if you hate, your immune system responds to that emotion, becomes suppressed. If you love, your immune system responds to that positive boost as well. Remember that feeling of being in love. Remember how you felt all over your body. Years of pent-up frustration, feelings of guilt, sadness, the loss of someone or something important in your life, the victim mentality, all these types of negative emotions are eating away at people's immune system. If you want to heal or remain healthy, it's time to deal with these emotions once and for all. Another section here I'm going to continue with is spiritual influences. God is a great physician. In fact, nothing we do physically or emotionally will make any difference unless God provides his power to heal. Our bodies have been imbued with God, the divine blueprint on how they are to heal. We think nothing of it when we accidentally cut our finger, watch the skin scab over, heal, and finally all that trace injury is removed. How much more willing is our body to heal itself from all forms of disease and injury? The simple yet divine healing miracle is repeated millions of times every day, and we need to get in touch with this healing power. You know, prayer does have a lot of, whether you believe in God or not, just positive thoughts even, positive affirmation. There's many examples of, just speak it into being type of deal. Anyways, I will move on from that point. I'll leave you to seek God in your own form or fashion. What cures cancer? He says, already as mentioned, a healthy lifestyle can prevent and reverse cancer. Eating the right kinds of foods, which are conducive, that is, to health, is essential. We need to stop eating animal-based products such as meat, dairy, and eggs. That's debatable to some degree. I would personally surmise that a vegan diet is the best way to go, even if I can be a bit hypocritical at this point. Okay, so further, these products are full of growth hormones. We've talked about that. Therein lies the problem. If you're going to eat, non-plant-based foods, certainly be aware of their source. All our foods now are mostly factory farmed. All the meats, even the vegetables we get from the grocery store, are questionable, and what's used as fertilizer for that. Pesticides and so much else, the GMOs. That was something that Ty and I did not get to, was the GMO factor, and that will be included also in the presentation, the 11-day presentation. And I do invite you to tune in beginning Monday, 2 nights from tonight. We're about 10 minutes down to go here, flying right on by. I'm going to move here to something else. Oh, I can't. That's a video. I'm not going to play it. But this is from naturalcuresummit.com, Dr. Charles Majors, D.C. And if you'd like to listen to this, I'm going to grab it. You can check this out yourself. Dropping it in chat. Now, like I said, I'm going to take all these links and I'm going to pop them onto my Facebook link there for the broadcast today. Let's see where else I can go here. I've got a whole gang of things opened up, but I think I've covered a lot of what I do have to do. Here's some on the sugar again, and this is greenmedinfo.com. Cancer and sugar strategy for selective starvation of cancer. According to the researchers of California, San Francisco, sugar poses a health risk, contributing to around 35 million deaths globally each year. So high is sugar toxicity that it should now be considered toxic. Well, I'm laughing about what they're gonna say because I remember reading this already. And potentially toxic substances like alcohol and tobacco, and they go on to say that it should be probably outlawed. I think everybody should have the choice of what to consume or not consume. Something that I did not get to that's where I had the brain stutter there when I forgot what I was going to say. That was on the legalization of hemp and cannabis. And Becky, of course, here will agree with what I have to say that legalization is not the answer. It shouldn't be illegal. Let's put it like that way. But I guess we'll take what we can get, right? If it's legalized, at least you don't have to worry about going to jail. But the cops, the government is going to take the profits that the drug dealers, are now making. And I hate to use that word, drug dealers. Providers, some people are calling, the dispensaries. But see, that's a scam right there, man. If you got to go pay $50 for an eighth, of some good medical grade cannabis, then man, that's street value, So then they're just taking that from tax, taking it up in tax and stuff. Hey, you're welcome back. Yeah, I will drop the YouTube link. This will archive to YouTube, and I will include it into the post when it does come back. So now we're down to 8 minutes, and let's see what else I have here to share. This is from jessenscough.com. Cancer is not a disease; it is a mechanism of protection and survival. And let's read what. Jessen? I'm not sure. Let me see if I can get the author's name here. Let's go back up. Yeah, okay. Jess, and I have a hard time. That's her name. Jess Ainscough. Okay, that's a name I've never heard before. And that is, and I'm going to grab this link. I'll drop that off into the chat, and then I will read just a bit of that. Okay, there you go there. And back. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's it. Okay. It is important for people who have are currently experiencing or have a fear of going through cancer to truly understand the mechanism that goes inside the body and the real reason why the body creates this. As the title suggests, cancer is... Y'all hear that gunshot? I'm out in the woods here. Cancer is certainly not a disease, but instead of survival and protective mechanism that the body engages when it is highly threatened. Well, somebody's hunting, I think. There are two ways in which cells are able to survive in the human body. Usually, the usual way cells survive is through the use of uptake of oxygens, and these are called tongue twister. That's for Chococelli and the Celli effect. Aerobite. I can't even say it now. They're classified as normal. I was going to say antibiotic, but no. AEROBIC. Aerobic. I can't even say it. Oh my. Okay, I'll just skip on past that then. So what it means is when there's a depletion of oxygen in surrounding tissue, The cells that are deprived of oxygen still need to survive. All cells in the human body are programmed for survival. Cells that aren't able to survive through the uptake of oxygen begin to mutate and feed off toxicity or waste material in the surrounding tissue. This could be a result of cell debris or any other form of waste or toxicity in the area. The functioning of those cells is diminished and they become quite primitive in their actions, very similar to the way stem cells work. These cells are termed anaerobic. That's the word I was looking for. Aerobic up above the oxygen, and anaerobic, of course, is oxygen deprived. So they are also referred to as cancer cells. Every human being on the planet has these, some more than others. It all depends on how much waste is circulating through the body. The more waste and toxins that accumulate in the body, the higher the incidence of cancer and mutated cells. Wow, this has been a super fast hour. We're down to 5 minutes. This is a very interesting explanation for this. In order for the human body to function optimally, internal environments need to be relatively alkaline, and that's, of course, what we were talking about earlier, alkalizing the body. Going on to say, when too much waste builds up inside the body, again, the body can start to become acidic. This is a reason why most natural alternatives to treating cancers involve high alkaline diets to detoxify and bring more oxygen to cancer sites. The more acidic the body becomes, the greater the mutations. These cell mutations or cancer cells can be referred to as the internal housekeeping system of the body. Good example that she uses here is, take, for example, an apartment that has carpet everywhere. Eventually, that's going to be really, really dirty, and the longer you go without vacuuming, the more there is to clean. So there's that. Let's see where now. I have so many links, and I've probably gone through most of them in partiality, that is. I have a lot of YouTube links that I had opened up that I listened to. Let me start back on this end. Again, I want to... okay. No, I'm not going to cover that one. I do want to remind you again, thetruthaboutcancer.com. Ty Bollinger, our guest today. Tune in there. For this, 28 doctors, 11 scientists, 9 survivors, and 1 FDA dragon-slaying attorney break their code of silence and expose the truth about cancer and exactly how to prevent and treat it and beat it 100% naturally. I am signed up, you guys. I hope you guys will be too. Listen, we've got coming up on UCY following Cancer Kickers. We have... World Crisis Radio with Webster Tarpley later tonight at 8 p.m. I think, yes, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. We have the Ocelli Effect with Chuck Ocelli, and he gets my congratulatory tongue twister. Thanks, Global Earth Guy. He says, me too, Becky, UCY.TV is the best. And I agree. I find I have very little time to go elsewhere other than all the great programming here on UCY.TV. Fantastic lineup, a lot of great people, a whole lot smarter than I am. And matter of fact, I credit UCY.TV and Jules for having increased my knowledge, certainly. I'm not a genius, but I'm not an idiot. But some might debate that. I'm really glad y'all tuned in. Thanks for participating, everybody. Y'all are great. Becky, love you bunches, girl. And she's going to get down to Central America one day, and she's going to have to give me her address. I might go all wet back, go south of the border, too. Anyway, so we're coming up. J. Cynthia Brooks, love you, girl. She couldn't be here. I hope everything's all right. That's it. Love and peace, y'all. Bye-bye. See you next week. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
I believe in angels, and I believe in you. I believe in the simple things and everything you do. I believe in the heavens above, and I believe in truth. I believe in the love we have, because I believe in